disappointing outcome of the football game. A lot of things going on, some things we can control, some things we can't control. But too many missed opportunities when you look at it, just missed opportunities. Got to keep the quarterback in the box. You know, can't allow him to scramble. I think it's like 4th and 15 or 4th and 14. Can't allow him to scramble. Got to leverage the football and make a tackle. We're facing up the guy, so we should be able to do that for less than 14, and the game's over. And then, you know, at the end of the game approaches, you know, make some plays, get down there, make the kick, find out we have 12, we don't have 12, we have 12, I don't know. You know, but just we'll look at that. Extremely disappointed. Too many missed opportunities. Missed opportunities in the first half, whether it's a penalty that puts us back or something else that puts us back. And you know, we have some big plays in the game. We have over 400 yards of offense, but we don't have the production on that, I don't think. So there's not enough production points. So it's tough to win a game, you know, scoring one touchdown, and we almost did it. And then, you know, we had some lapses defensively. Had one big play on us. We threw the ball over our head. You know, we got to make it tougher for them to do that. But extremely disappointed. I thought the crowd was outstanding. I thought the environment again was outstanding, and disappointed for our fans, and take responsibility for that. So I'll take some questions.
Mark, on that 42-yard, what happened with the coach from the coaching standpoint on the sideline with going for the field goal or going for a play there with 11 seconds left?
Initially, we were going to try and take a shot to the end zone. The clock was going to run. We had no more timeouts. The clock was going to run. You know, as so we spiked it. But then the 40-second clock was running. Initially, we were going to try a shot down there, and then I said, hey, we need to kick it, because if we catch the ball, the game's probably over. If we catch the ball and we're not in the end zone, the game's probably over. Line up and kick it. And our field goal kicker was a little late, you know, sort of watching. And so he runs out, the clock's ticking down, he still makes the field goal, but I'm not sure how. We had injuries on the offensive line. I think maybe one guy stayed in. I'm not sure, I haven't seen the film. I know that they reviewed it and said there was no foul, and then they reviewed it again, so I'm not sure. Maybe you guys have seen it. Then we line up again, kick the field goal, they try and hurdle us. That should be a penalty. Call no penalty, it's not reviewable. But that's just to get to overtime. You know, there's a lot of opportunities prior to that where we could have won the football game. So, you know, I think that they need to take a good hard look at the officiating. That's all I'll say, because there was some disputes out there. So, that's all I'll say about that. You got to play the game.
Mark, what was the reason for taking the timeouts when they had the ball, the dead ball situation, instead of keeping one in case they scored?
Well, I thought it was going to come down that last series, you know, and really the timeout, we didn't need the timeout anyway because we could spike the ball, stop the clock. It was on the 42nd line. And also wanted to make sure, because we were so concerned about the quarterback scrambling, you know, we were trying to look at the formation that they were running and make them change that formation. So we took the timeouts to make sure that we were going to be aligned up correctly and make them change a couple of the formations. Same thing that they did, really, except they did on the offensive side. They used their timeouts. Just trying to make sure we're lined up correctly, you know, figure out whether we're going to pressure or not, how we're going to handle number 3 on the screen if he screens it, you know, how we're going to keep the quarterback in the box knowing that he's going to scramble. And that's what he did on 4th and 14. Scrambles for the first down, so, and that should not happen. So there's a lot of different things, and there's a lot of different things that we need to look at. But a lot of good plays out there. But you know, at the end of the day, you got to win a football game. You got to win. That's the deal.
Mark, I know you doesn't sound happy with the officiating, but 10 penalties again after it seemed like it kind of fixed itself last week.
Yeah.
Just your thought on those mistakes that were made today.
Well, I gave you some of my thoughts on it. You know, and I'm not one to stand up here and criticize officials. I never have. So I'll let everybody take a look at those. The people who should be looking at those can take a look at those. In other words, the officiating groups themselves, I'll let them handle that. I'm not going to go off on that. But there were a lot of things that set us back. Some were in question. You know, we get a fumble recovery. I didn't see a flag come out, get a fumble recovery, and all of a sudden the flag's out. And when you just scored. So there's a lot of different things you can look at. You know, I'm sure you guys look at them a little closer now. We have to get on to the next challenge. And that'll be Northwestern at away. We've got 3 out of the next 4 away games, so Mark will be challenged, and we need to get ourselves right. Got a lot to play for.
Mark, over here, obviously you already reshuffled offensive line, and we saw Luke Campbell go down and come back. We didn't see Kevin Jarvis come back. Is there any update on your status?
No update on Kevin right now.
Well, how do you, I guess, all things considered, how do you think that group performed today when you basically lose, well, I guess would be the equivalent of your third string left tackle when you kind of got to move?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say. I thought our guys played hard and, you know, protected the quarterback pretty well. I said that they would put a lot of people at the point of attack, and they did. We found a couple of creases, ran for, I guess, a little over 100 yards. You know, you want to run the ball more consistently. At a 4th down stop one time, which is, you know, stopped to drive. Again, got no points out of that. You know, we had some different things happen like that where we didn't get points in the first half, where we had 3 opportunities across the 50, I believe, or maybe even across the 40. We came away with 0 points, and that came back to get us. Happened in the second half too. You know, we have a holding call on a punt return. We'll see. But that, you know, we do end up, I think, scoring on that series. I don't know, guys. It's all, you know. Sometimes you're on the sideline and you're dealing with it, and it's a lot easier to see it from afar. It's up close, and you're trying to deal with it. It's happening fast. Yeah.
Mark, could you sort of describe, I guess, what the mood was like in the locker room and also your message? I'm sure you probably realize a lot of guys were, you know, motivated this game for your record and whatnot. I know you don't like talking about
somber. It was somber in there. You know, nobody likes to lose. Nobody wants to disappoint anybody. You know, I thought the enthusiasm was very good on the sidelines. I thought we were playing hard. You know, a lot of things going on. But, and as far as the message to our football team, it's like another life message, man. You got to get up. You got to get them off the ground. That's part of it. We've all had difficult days or things that didn't work out for us, and the next thing you know, you're sort of trying to climb out of a hole a little bit. So, you know, that's the nature of life. That's what we do. That's coaching. That's teaching. Yeah. That's this football. That's football.
Mark, Matt obviously missed the 2 in the first half, and then had the make and then the miss at the end of the game. Did you see anything from him pregame or anything like that you
No,
kind of saw?
he hit all the balls clean in pregame. It was windy out there in the first half. First half maybe a little bit more than the second, blowing towards our bench. But you know, you're gonna miss. I mean, what was the 8th grade? You're gonna miss. He's entitled to a misser. So yes, it's tough when they all mean so much sometimes. So difficult. Very good.
So Mark, what did you see on that last scramble, the 4th and 13? I think you dropped 8 on that one.
Yeah, we dropped 8, spied the quarterback, so we'd be able to prevent something just like that. They ran double seams, and you know, he got out on the edge. He broke. You know, it's not the 3-man rush that gets busted out. It's the people in the back. They're all facing the quarterback, so they should be able to rally back to stop him for a 14-yard gain. But I didn't see, you know, like I said, I saw ground level, didn't see it on film, so I'm not sure who, where, what happened. Did they get blocked? They just, you know, get the back turn, or what happened? But you got decisions to make. You want to blitz them, you know, you want to pressure them, which is a little bit less than blitzing. You want to 4-man rush them. You know, there's a lot of things that are going through your mind right there. So, got to try and make the best decision you can. But there's no way. I don't care what defense you have. You know, 14, you got to stop them. Again, you know, it didn't happen, so deal with it. Got the call was very close on whether they got in or not, so got to deal with that one too. But we had an opportunity. We came back down the field. Daryl Stewart had a big game. Thought the work he played pretty well again. Made some throws, some big plays out there.
2 more, Steven and Chris.
I don't know if it's too similar, Mark, but you bottled up Daniels pretty well for the most part for the first 3 quarters, and then later on he's able to get out a little bit. I guess, did you see anything different that they were doing for him to get out there? Is it just in a more
No.
aggressive mindset from him with the game?
No, you know,
being
I
like-
think he just made a play. Quarterback, he's throw the ball pretty well the first half, early in the game. But, going into the last drive, they got 148 yards of offense. So, they hit one big long one. And we got to play better than that on that one, but the rest of it, they sort of nickel and dimed it within scrambling the football down to it. Got a couple crossers.
You kind of mentioned that, they get their big drive at the end, defense is out there for a decent amount of time today. How do you keep the division from growing, when the defense gives up 200-some yards and shuts them down and the offense continues to sputter?
Well, I think that the defense gave up a score at the end of the game, to keep scored away. But there's no problem within our locker room in that capacity. Our guys like each other, they know how hard they work. There's little things that stop you along the way that gotta be fixed. And, you gotta deal with it. That's like I said, that's football. But there's no division in the locker room. We'll get ready to play. We'll get ourselves ready to play to go to Northwestern, and sometimes it's good to get it playing in different environments. We'll be excited for that as well.
All right, thanks, guys.